So for the longest time, when it comes to X-Men, there's always been the love triangle between Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey. It's kind of always been a thing. Even if you don't read the comics, you've seen this in the X-Men movies, the animated series. Several versions of it have touched on this. It's a pretty well-known thing. Wolverine is the bad boy. Jean Grey has a little bit of a crush on him, but she sticks with her man Cyclops. Now, this has changed over the years with the White Queen and Scott and a few other things. They are back together currently in the comics in the main X-Men run, but there's a little bit of a weird twist on it. And I've covered this before, and I'm going to give you guys a quick catch-up, but there's definitely something going on with Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. They've hinted but never outright said anything is going on. But when you look at the pieces of the puzzle and you put it together, I don't know what other answers there are other than they're all hanging out together and doing a little bit of naked twister at the end of the day. So let me show you what we know so far. So currently in the comic books, all the X-Men live on the island of Krakoa. It's kind of become a new Genosha. You know what that is? It's basically a mutant state. It's its own nation. They're the only ones allowed there. So Professor X is doing this weird thing, and he's kind of abandoned the dream. I'm sure that there's going to be an interesting reveal at the end of all this that says that they're all being controlled or something, because they're not really acting like, the X-Men. This doesn't seem like Charles Xavier. It's probably I think it's the most interesting thing going on in comics right now, the X-Men books. I like X-Men, I like Marauders and X-Force, and the Wolverine solo book is pretty good. However, there's still this strange relationship going on here that's not 100% confirmed, but it's a little weird, and it flies in the face of some stuff that's, like I said, the triangle. Basically, they just got rid of it, and they seem to have put them in a poly relationship, but it looks like it might be a little bit more than that. So here's where the evidence comes in. So what's going on here? So everyone has their own little bases. Cyclops has the Summers home. Basically, on Krakoa, what it is there's gateways. So mutants can access the gateways and go anywhere. So Cyclops has his own little home on the moon. And then there's a habitat there, and there's a gateway that connects to Krakoa. It's kind of like an assault base for quick response to threats. So this is the summer house. Sorry. Okay, so you see here, there's the common area right in the middle, and then outside of that, there's everybody's rooms. So let's go over everyone's rooms. In 13, you have Vulcan. In 14, you have Havoc. 15 is currently empty. In 16, you have Cable. 17 is empty. 18, you have Rachel's room. Now, I'd like to note here that there's 2 empty rooms, all right? Room 15 and room 17 are empty. Everyone so far is connected to Cyclops and Jean Grey through some kind of, event in the timeline. But this is where the interesting stuff is. Room 11, 12, and 10, if you've noticed, unlike all the other rooms, those 3 rooms are conjoined. In the middle, in room 12, is Jean Grey. To each side of the room, 11 and 10, you have Cyclops and Wolverine. They can get it right in there. Okay, then close it off. She can take either one of them. But it turns out, well, they all might be hanging out regardless. But the thing here is it indicates that, Wolverine and Cyclops are sharing Jean Grey. I don't know if that's true or not. There's no way to confirm if this is a real thing. Like, if this is, it could be a nothing burger. But the facts are the facts. They're all sharing that little room. It looks like they're sharing Jean Grey. And in the comics, recently, Jean Grey and Wolverine were a little flirty. I think it was in the recent X-Force book, or maybe it was in the Wolverine solo book. I forget which one. They were a little flirty, okay? And that wouldn't be outside of the norm usually unless you look deeper and you see this. There's been scenes of them hanging out, like Wolverine is like sharing a beer with Cyclops and Jean Grey, and it looks like Cyclops is tickling his belly. But anyway, what's this house have, that going on here other than the conjoined rooms? Well, everybody here other than Wolverine is part of Cyclops' family tree. Everybody but Wolverine. Kind of hints that maybe he is a part of the family tree. Maybe they're all in a relationship together. And it kind of becomes a little bit more confirmed in the next part here. Scott, Jean, and Wolverine, the poly X-Men relationship may have a, well, you can see that word, twist. Here's that picture of Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean having a good time. It looks like Cyclops, if you could see the rest of this picture, is like tickling Wolverine's belly. So I want to point out that I did notice this when I read issue 7 of X-Men. I did it on my comic book channel and gaming channel, which is just YellowFlash. I did a review of all of the X books that have came out over the past 2 weeks. And I thought about talking about it, but I didn't. But then I read this article and it got me interested in talking about it again. So here's the scene. So this is in the Summers clan house. Wolverine's awake, said couldn't sleep, never do. It's all that hair, too hot for covers, and it's too cool without them. Can we just sit here like men, drink our coffee, and just enjoy a quiet moment for once? He says, I guess. But here's the thing. What did I just say? Jean and I are taking the kids to Chandelure in a few days, and we were wondering if you wanted to come along. I know that's not normally your idea of fun, but it might be nice. And now here's the other little piece to the puzzle here. It says, the scenery at that place is something else. It says, it sure is. Wolverine says, Jeannie in a bikini. Then he says, Scott in a Speedo. Wolverine says, well, who could say no to that? Great. Now, this could be a nothing burger, right? This could be nothing. And maybe it is. But you can't sit here and deny that the clues are kind of there and that something's going on. Now, given Marvel's, really big progressive push over the past couple of years, I'm surprised they're not outright saying it. Because you think that they would for press, unless they're ashamed of this and don't want to outright say it. Kevin Feige, he almost quit Marvel over this kind of stuff. And he's in charge now, so what's going on, Kevin? I find this kind of funny, I don't really like it as an X-Men fan because personally I always enjoyed the kind of tension between Wolverine and Jean, and the rivalry between Cyclops and Wolverine for her. I always thought that was a very interesting dynamic, and it's really been a part of X-Men lore for so long, and now here you're just removing that from the equation and making Wolverine the burger in the Scott and the Jean bun. And it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, what can you do about it? The real question that I asked, though, is who is this for? Because most X-Men fans aren't asking for this, Was there really a need to push this for them? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have done this with other characters. You already have, Bobby doing the progressive thing. What was the point of this? I mean, you're literally making your most high-profile character kind of in a weird situation. And it's not just that, him and Cyclops, it's the poly thing. I mean, that's illegal. That's not even a legal thing in just about every state in the West. So it's interesting. And I wonder what's their end goal with this. But like I said, this could be nothing, right? This could just be, you know what this could be? A little bit of breadcrumb trail for the shippers and for the woke 10% on Twitter. And I already see a ton of outlets talking about this. Yeah, they're definitely doing it. Maybe they are. I don't know. I just wonder who is this for, because X-Men fans, have always enjoyed the triangle for what it is, and the interesting stories that you can tell with it. And now it's just like, well, that's gone. Now they just all bang each other, and it's like, I mean, come on, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. In some aspects, I don't care, but in some aspects, I do, because it's like, why are you messing with something that works? I mean, the X-Men are already a very diverse team. They're already super progressive. And those are things that, have always kind of been there with the X-Men. They've been good examples for how there always has been diversity in comic books. But now you're just messing with things that have been there forever, such as the triangle, and you're turning into this weird, like, poly thing. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, you could have done this with anything else, but you're going to mess with one of the dynamics that people have enjoyed forever. I think there's going to be a big reveal, and these are going to be fake X-Men or something. I'm pretty sure of it because the X-Men are acting really strange. They've been acting strange since the Hickman run began. So we'll see what happens. But regardless, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of very upset people over this and a lot of people that are very happy about it. I'm going to wait and see how it all plays out. But it's kind of funny. So what do you guys think? Do you think that there's something here? Give me your thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. I'd like to know your thoughts. Also, if you could share the video, that would be most appreciated. Throw a like up. That would be very appreciated. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new.